Take one. I recently built this 96 BMW E36 and it is amazing. I'm pushing so hard trying to catch these guys. Dude, that was next level. It is an absolute weapon. It took a long time to finish. It is a very finely tuned instrument. But what if you don't have the means to build something like that? What if you just want to get started in motorsport but don't know how to? Well, welcome to a brand new SSBB Builds series. I'm very excited about this series because in this series we're going to go back to basic. We're going back to a front wheel drive. The whole concept, what is the cheapest but still safe way to actually do a race. And that means if you have a car, you can take this and apply this concept to whatever you have and go and physically do a race, or just do track days and improve your driving or practice or whatever the case may be. But what we are going to do is we are going to take a basic car, do what is required to get on the track and safely do a race. So this is going to be fun. So in order to do this, we are going to need a car. Now it is standing over there. I have one. I bought one quite a while ago. It's been standing for a long time because I've been focused on just finishing the BMW. It is right here. It is looking very sad because before I got it, it's been standing for a very long time. It had been standing. I'll show you exactly why and what is all that is wrong with the car, and we're gonna have to get through that. But the big focus of this series is rather just to get the thing on the track. What do we need to do to actually race the car? So what did I get? There it is in all of its glory. Oh yeah, well, you actually can't see what it is because it's covered. Yes, it's covered under a tarpaulin. I don't really have other covered parking space, so I've kept it under this tarpaulin. So I want to pull off the tarpaulin and then we're going to be able to see what we have. So this thing, like I say, has been sitting for a very long time. I put this tarpaulin on just to protect it from the sun mainly. Couldn't protect it from much else. Came with really shitty wheels, so I managed to get some stock wheels which we're going to use, because again the concept of this build is to keep it as close to how anybody would be able to do it as possible. So in other words, as relatable as possible. Pull this sucker off. Come on, get off there. Ta-da! It's looking very sorry for itself. This is a 2006, I think, 2006 Ford Fiesta 1.4 3-door. Now, I managed to get this car for a really good deal and I will show you why just now, shortly. But let's take a walk around and see what we have. It has dual sports exhaust, alloy wheels with road tires, drum brakes on the back, teeny tiny discs on the front. It is a oh, it stinks in there, good lord. It is a 3-door, so no back doors, and it is nasty in here. I mean, everything is there. These seats are prone to failure with this little latch mechanism. I see someone has tried to fix it with this, with the bottle cap. I see this is all going to be coming out. Obviously we're going to gut this car to make sure that it is good enough to race with and safe enough to race with. It does sport a sunroof, so we're going to have to figure that out. Doors still work, but the typical Fiesta hatch things, that's broken. Here's the door latch. That's broken. Visor is hanging down. It almost looks like someone painted the interior of this car. In fact, they did, because all of this is coming off. This looks like an aftermarket sunroof that someone put on here. But it is nasty, man. I don't know what someone did in here. It is really, really dirty. Steering wheel looks like someone chewed on it. But otherwise, a very good base for what we want to do. Rear seats are there. I'm going to be selling all of this stuff. I'm going to sell all the interior bits that we're not going to use. I'll sell it on Facebook Marketplace. It'll probably only be available locally. The back I don't have the keys for. So let us see what's happening with the engine. There's a little string here to open the bonnet. The engine, MIA, missing in action, not in the car. Gearbox is there, there's a whole bunch of little wires, obviously, there's wires, there's water hoses, looks like someone chopped off that water hose. The radiator is here, but otherwise this looks like a diabolical mess. No headlights, but I do have the headlights. The front of this thing also is in real sorry shape. Alright, so the engine is out of the car, and that is why I got the car for such a good deal. The engine had blown. Something happened, it ran low on oil, or something happened with the oil. There wasn't really a lot of detail around it, but basically it ran dry and destroyed itself. The engine I do have in pieces, so you might have seen it in snippets in previous builds, but that is effectively the block. That is the cylinder head, there's the crank with the cradle, and there's a whole bunch of other small bits in here, valve springs, whatnot. The cams are there. To try and rebuild that thing would be an absolute disaster and a whole bunch of time, and nobody got time for that. So the thing is, you can get these spares, these motors, for pretty good prices, and this car came as a 1.4, so here is an opportunity for us to do a bit of an upgrade, the very first upgrade. So what did I do? I managed to purchase a 1.6 Fiesta motor. So this is, they call it the Duratec 1.6 motor. It's not the row cam, it's a double overhead cam motor. 16 valve, very similar to the 1.4. In fact, I think it's pretty much exactly the same. The intake might be slightly different, but the bottom end basically, so that it has a larger displacement. It's a very nice engine, so that engine will be going into the Fiesta at some point during the build process. So again, the purpose of this build is not so much the technicalities on how we're actually going to get this thing running and what are we going to do. It's more about what is the cheapest but still safe way to get a car from a stock form onto a racetrack and do a race. That's our goal for this series. Now we're going to do it in about 4 to 5 episodes, something like that. So it's not going to take 2 years like what happened with the BMW. Here we're going to be focused on the absolute basics, and I'll run through the build or the plan of the build and how to get started in motorsport in the next episode, where we actually start tearing into the car. But this is effectively an intro. So this is effectively an intro into the Ford Fiesta build. Now it will become a 1.6 like I showed you with the engine. To do that, we'll have to just put a chip onto the original ECU. Again, there's no modifications. It'll effectively then just be the 1.6 version, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So the goal is get this car onto a racetrack and do a race. How do you do that? How do we do that if we have any sort of car, any basic front wheel drive? This is exactly how you're going to do it. So I hope you're as excited as I am, because we're going back to basics. It's all about how to get started in motorsport. So stick around, this should be fun. This is going to be the first video. This is the first video of 2024, but this is going to be the first build we're going to do in 2024. So again, thank you so much for watching. Look forward to the next episode where we tear into this thing and we go over how to actually get started in motorsport, what are the first steps, and how do we go about doing it. So thank you, we'll see you guys then.